Hi, and welcome to your free trial with Phin Security. My name is Andrew, and I'm on the Phin Partner Success team. In today's video, I'm going to highlight how to build a continuous security awareness training program that is self-reliant and runs continuously until you tell it to stop. Now, it's important to note that in this instance of your free trial, not all features will be available to you, and I'll note a few as we move through the platform today. So what you can see here is Phin's homepage. Our product is multi-tenant by nature, so once you upgrade to the paid version of the trial, you can create as many tenants as you want for your customers or whoever else you're administering security awareness training to. And so you can see my instance here. This is a test environment that I created specifically for the purposes of this demo. So this is Andrew's test 2 for demo. So it will give you an internal client. It'll tell you admins on the account as well, such as myself. And then in the future, like I mentioned, once you have the active subscription, you can add a company, add as many as you want. It's multi-tenant by nature. But like I said, for the purposes of today, we're just going to run through the setup of this internal tenant right here that's automatically created. So you can come in here and you'll see you have 5 main steps to set up a security awareness training program. Obviously, there's additional configurations that you can have beyond that. But most of our existing partners set up security awareness training in 10 minutes or less for a customer. And so in this instance, I'll kind of go through and set this up. And so if I wanted to upload any logos to white label the solution, I can do that here under personalize. You can also do it at the partner home level. Once you do it at that partner home level, it'll automatically adapt down to all of your customer accounts. So you only have to upload it once. If you want to override that logo, you can do it in each company tenant as well. So this is where I can do this. I upload a logo. You can see one here, and then this will appear on things like welcome emails and also in the end user's LMS so that they know it's coming from you or whoever you want, whatever logo you want in there. They know it's coming from a reputable source in that instance. So having that brand recognition there, always important. And so as we move through this, if I make any changes, like let's say in personalize, that will automatically check this circle with a line through it right here. Obviously I didn't make any changes, so it didn't do that. This is kind of just a checks and balances for you if you want to kind of move through the process. You complete something, it checks it, and if you didn't, to come back to it as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and override this since we have that logo in there already. And we can go into email settings. So the surest way that we recommend allowing our traffic to get to end users is by allow listing. And we have our allow listing guide here. It will essentially allow that traffic from Phin, which for our phishing templates are viewed as malicious a lot of times since we're simulating what a phishing email would be. And so once you do that, you allow our sending domains and our IP addresses. There's 2, and this is kind of the more important one since it's the phishing email one. Once you allow that traffic, typically most of our partners do it in Microsoft Defender. You can see the guide here. There should be no issues in terms of email deliverability. So very easy and straightforward, nice to set up there. So we have a whole guide on that, and of course we're always available to answer any questions on it as well. So again, that took me to our knowledge base, which I'll talk about again later, not in the platform. So I'm going to go ahead and override this check. So configure welcome emails. And so one of the really cool things about Phin is you configure a welcome email to send automatically to new users joining your tenant here or your company. And so the really nice thing about welcome emails, we find that there's typically a lot more buy-in when a user receives a welcome email to actually complete trainings. They know what's expected of them. They have those expectations already set to complete security awareness training. So it typically yields a better completion rate amongst your company that you're administering this to. So if I go ahead and click enable automatic welcome emails, this actually just takes us back to the branding page, the personalized page that we saw earlier. And so if we scroll down, we can see the welcome emails part of it. And so you have the option to change any of this as well. If you go from preview to edit, this is like our template that we have for the welcome email. You can see my logo appears here at the top of the welcome email. Yours would do the same, whatever logo you upload. But we also have tokens in here to populate your name, the company's name. Again, any of this can be changed. You can test it as well, make sure that it looks good. Enter in the email, click send. So really easy to get set up. If you want to enable this to send automatically, it's completely optional. Every new user that we detect in our system will get this, including existing users that have not gotten it. So if you click this and toggle it on, you can select what time every day that this will send to new users. And then you can also select the audience. So if you want this to go to just all new users, that's great. You can do that. Just leave it as full company. If you want it to go to a specific department, a specific supervisor, or Azure group as well, that's not shown here, but you can do that as well. And I'll explain a little bit more about audience filters as we get into users and campaigns, but just know you have the option to filter who this welcome email is going to, just like you will for campaigns as well. But for now, I'm going to turn this off. I don't necessarily want my fake user that I'm about to upload here to get it, which it will be me. But anyways, so as you can see, we enabled that on. So we have the green check going for configure welcome emails. For user management, there's two main ways to upload users into Phin. And it's very straightforward. You can either sync your users with Microsoft Azure. And so very easy if it's an Azure client, Azure side of the house, Microsoft side of the house, you just do one initial sync for each company, and then we'll automatically pick up those changes to users being deleted, added, maybe change their name every 6 hours automatically. So you don't really have to do any continuous work. The nice thing about it, you just manage your users in one place in Azure. We'll get those changes over every 6 hours, every 6 hour increments that we have it. And then also you have the option to, if they're not an Azure client, you can also upload a CSV here. It's very straightforward. All you'll need to do is, enter in a CSV. It can be any basic spreadsheet CSV with 3 columns that are required: first name, last name, email address. Once you do that, it will go through a matching process where it'll say, hey, I see this first column is titled first name. Is this the first name column? You'll say yes, right? And so you do that for the other columns. We've got a template in there that you can use with optional columns as well. So feel free to do that. It's very easy and straightforward. For now, though, I'll go ahead and quickly show you what the Azure sync looks like. And so for this, we'll go ahead and continue to Microsoft. And it will go ahead and ask us to sign in to our tenant here. And it will go ahead and we'll go ahead and accept this. And it'll go through this consent process where it's looking for specific users, groups, and the first thing it will do, it'll ask us if we want to bring in any groups as a part of this. And so the nice thing about Phin is we've gotten the feedback a lot of times from our existing partners that, hey, I've got my Azure tenant, it's got 1,000 users in it. I don't want to bring all of those users into Phin. They don't all need training, only about 500 do. And so if that's the case, you can put all those users that need Phin training in one group in Azure. We'll detect those groups. As you can see here's some of our groups. Here's like an example group. And so doing that, you'll be able to see the groups that are brought in, and then just select that group. Once you do that, it'll only bring in that group and only the users in that group. Thus, you just really have to manage that Azure group for security awareness training in Phin. So very easy and straightforward. If I just want all active users with a license in Microsoft Azure to be brought in, I just skip this step. And these kind of groups will be brought in, but they're mostly just static sitting in Phin. And I'll explain it later as we get to campaigns. So we'll skip that for now. It'll just bring in all active users, right? Like I said, as a part of it. You also have the option, if you do have any like email aliases, shared mailbox, it's like accounting at XYZ company, you have the option as a part of the staging environment to actually sleep those users or otherwise render them inactive. So if they're slept, they're inactive, they won't receive phishing emails, training emails, and they won't be billed. They won't be a billable user. So they'll just kind of be statically sitting in Phin. And they won't, affect any of the billing numbers that we have, because we do bill based on usage for the previous month. So we bill in arrears. So if a user receives a phishing email, they receive a training email, or they access their training in that given month in that time frame, they are counted as a billable user. Sleeping the user will render them inactive. So for this example, I'm just going to sleep this test account here. As we go through. And like I said, you can see the 11 users that were found in this Azure tenant, 20 groups, and groups will mostly stay static as I commit this sync. And you only have to do this initial syncing process once, as I mentioned earlier. You just do this syncing process the one time, and then after that, it syncs in those 6 hour windows. So you can see the sync times here and the sync status. It'll sync at midnight in your time zone, 6 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m. So if I add a user at 3 p.m. in my time zone, those changes will be reflected at the next syncing window, which is 6 p.m. So kind of a nice tool that you only have to manage one area, right? Awesome. And so if I go back here and I go to users, I'll be able to see that all of the users that I wanted to import via Azure are right here. And so if I had, one account, let's say John, I wanted to actually go ahead and sleep this user. He doesn't need to be active in getting this training. I can do that right here. I'm like, actually, no, wait, I want to wake him up. Can do it with this sunshine icon. And then you can manually send that welcome email that I mentioned earlier. It doesn't have to be automatically to everyone. You can just do it to a couple users if you want to. Select the date and time, send it. Very easy. And then, of course, delete any users as well. And this is where you would upload the CSV. You can also just upload users individually right there. And then you can also add a company level admin or a co-manage admin that will just have access to this tenant. And so we saw at the company level, you have, some, actually I should say the partner level, you had some administrators for, all of your tenants. Whenever you get those tenants in the paid version, you'll be able to see that. But for this example, if you wanted to add an admin just to the company level, you can do that here, and they would just have access to this single tenant. So very nice if you have another admin that just wants to, add campaigns or add users or even just look at our training content just in this tenant. This is where you could do that. So very, very easy to do and set up there. And then as we keep going here, so I added users, of course, that's going to say that I did that with that green check. Now, when we get into campaigns here, this is really the bread and butter of what we do here. It's all about continuous campaigns, automation. They run until you tell them to stop. And so most of our partners do that through the continuous campaign creator that you can see here. And so if I go through this, it's going to ask you 7 questions about this company or this tenant. And based on those 7 questions, it's going to spit out continuous phishing and training campaigns that really run until you tell them to stop. It's very nice. It's a set it and forget it kind of system that we have here. And so what this is doing is just configuring what specific, generally speaking, what templates for phishing and what training modules should be included. Like if I selected yes here, that would include a HIPAA training module, of course, but I'm not going to for this example, just because this fake company doesn't need it, right? And so you can see here, so here's kind of like a summary of everything I just did. And so if you go ahead and you can see the topics for phishing and I should say the tags for phishing and the topics for training. So how it works to make it continuous is all of our training modules are assigned to a topic and all of our phishing templates are tagged to a different category. And so for training, for example, how it works to make it continuous is if I'm doing once a month training, let's just say, the first month, it will be a training module under the phishing topic, and then a training module under device security for month 2. Month 3 will be under password topic, all the way down. And then once we get back up to phishing, it'll be a different training video or a different phishing video, I should say, than the first cycle, and then a different device security video than the first cycle, etc. So that's kind of how we keep it continuous. We've got over 100 courses in our library, constantly adding from 6 different providers. So it's really easy to set that up, set it and forget it. It's going to be different content each time. And if you're doing once a month training, I think it'll take like 8 years before you get a repeat topic as it stands right now. And by then should have a whole slew of library, even more than what we have now. So anyways, and then phishing works the same way with a slight twist. So because we want to make it a very authentic experience, no 2 users will get the same phishing email at the same time. It will be sent over a phishing window, so you can set it to as little as 3 days or 7 days. But at the start of that window, one user might get one phishing email under that tag. Maybe the tag is notification. They get a notification coming from Slack one day, and then another user gets a different phishing email from Microsoft, Google, what have you. Really just keeping it very authentic so people can't have that group think of, hey, this is a phishing email, don't click on that. kind of avoiding that. So all you would do here is select the start scheduling no earlier than date. So what's the soonest that you want this cadence to pick up? Set that, and then you're good to go. And by default, it will go the first Monday of the month. So feel free to change that to, second Thursday of every month, whatever you wanted to do there. So I'll go ahead and submit. And we have set up 5 steps for a continuous phishing and training campaign for this customer, for this company. And so all you would need to do from there is go over reports. So you have the option, again, it's optional to add report viewers to this tenant. And so for any external stakeholders that don't have access to this dashboard, this is a great place for them to be able to just, you can add them as a report viewer, and they'll get an email in a PDF form where they can see, who's clicking on phishing emails, what's the progress of that, and then training as well, who's completing training, lots of stats, lots of graphs on that. And I have an example that I can show us as well, but all you would do is add the report viewer, enable if you want it weekly or monthly reports. If you're doing monthly phishing and training, I'd recommend also keeping it one-to-one and doing monthly reports. You can also generate one ad hoc. If someone doesn't want to wait till the first of the month to get a report, you can just do it right now and include those same optional fields as well. But it's very easy. Once you enable this on, it'll just send monthly reports and kind of automate that function. So you don't have to spend time compiling reports together, compiling spreadsheets. It just sends that one PDF report right off, and easy peasy. So, and then in terms of history, this history table, once you generate something, this will appear in the history table. Obviously we don't have any now, but you can always see, the report that was sent, what's the scope, was it July, June, and you can always download it as well. That is reporting. And then we also have in-app analytics for you and other admins to view that you can see, in real time. Obviously, we don't have any now, but feel free to take a look as you go through your free trial. It's very handy and easy to see who's completing training, who's not, who's getting phished and who's not, and then trends based on that. It's very, very intuitive and straightforward. And so outside of that, so those are kind of the 5 main steps to set up your trial from, for this internal trial account. You can see that there. I've added these 10 users that are active, right? Because we slept that one, of course. And then at this point, you can also, I'll also take you through the end user experience. And so switching gears here to what your end users will see setting up phishing and training. If I was an end user, this is an example of one of our templates here. So this is actually coming from FedEx. Well, it looks like it's coming from FedEx, but it's not. It's one of our Phin phishing emails. And so if I was an end user and I was saying, hey, I need to track my package right now, and I click this link, what happens is, oh, wait a minute, let me try that again. Okay, there we go. They're actually taken to what is called a learning moment. And so we've gotten the feedback a lot of times from our other partners that, hey, our users, if they click the link, they feel like they're being punished by getting assigned a random training video that is too long and also not really relevant to the action that they just took, which is clicking that link. So at Phin, we aim to kind of be the opposite of that. We want the user to see the action that just happened and learn from that action of clicking the link, and basically look for ways to avoid clicking the link in the future, how to spot a phish, etc. So this does exactly that. It takes 90 seconds to 2 minutes to go right through it. They click through these kind of helpful tips from our ethical hacker here. And so you can kind of look through these. Oftentimes it's check, for suspicious images, hover over the link before sending, and also check the sending domain as well. But it's done in real time, so you can see the example right here of what it's highlighting, etc. So very easy. And then once they go ahead and read through all this, they click done. That will register that they've completed the learning moment in their analytics and in the report. So it'll show how many users have clicked on a phishing email, and then how many have actually learned from that behavior and completed the learning moment based on that. So that is the end user phishing experience. They're taken to this environment and able to learn in real time with a real example of what just happened. They also, this is where this is another company I set up, but this is where your logo would appear. So they can kind of see that for brand recognition. They know that it's coming from you as well, and it's not, something different. So That is the phishing example. So for training, training is also very straightforward. So the cool thing about our training is users don't have to create an account. They don't have to remember another password. It's all email based via a unique link. And so all they would do is once they're assigned to training, they would get a training reminder or training email that would look something like this. All they would do is click to view, and they would take them to their unique link in our LMS. And so they can see everything that's assigned to them, everything that they've completed, which for this is none, and or just all of it as well. The great thing about our training is 90% of it is just 5 minutes or less, followed by just a couple of questions just to check for understanding. So very easy. We don't want it to be too long. Straight to the point. They can just do it and move on with the rest of their day. So very easy and straightforward. So that is training. And then reporting, I have an example for reports here. So this is one of our example reports that you can see. So we have kind of like an executive summary page that shows really just high level insights for this company, for Joe's Pizza Shop. And so it'll show, the number of fishes reported. So that actually ties into our report a fish feature that we have, which I can talk about here in a second. Number of fishes clicked, so 1 out of 19, and then of those 1, they completed the learning moment, and it assigns a grade to both of those things. Number of trainings sent is 41, and they've completed 6 of those, totaling an F. So combining all that together, it was a B for the overall program grade. Last month it was a C. It compares month over month every time. Very easy to kind of digest if you're just a report viewer looking at it very quickly. We've got some trends and some graphs here, top click phishing email templates, Amazon packages usually get a lot of people there. And then we have users to watch, which is a table that highlights users that have either clicked on a phishing email in that given month and or have not completed their training. And so you can kind of see that here, and you can also see a historical data table for the last 12 months for all of your users, just kind of highlighting, who's completing what, who's caught up, and who's not, regardless of if they've completed all their training, they've clicked on any fishes, etc. So very easy, and these are the automated reports that I mentioned earlier, and this is exactly what they would look like, just depending on all of the fields that you choose to include. So. All right, so that is the end user experience. We set up a company, we saw everything. So there are also the option for you, especially in the live environment, to be able to have some more customization. You have the option to, if you don't want to go through continuous campaigns, you don't have to. You can go to the phishing campaign section, the dashboard here, and launch a phishing campaign straight from here. If you do a fixed length campaign, it's going to make me enter a name here. You have the option to not only select an audience, so you can select a department, a supervisor, a group. If I were to have, a product department, just Dan would appear from there. And this all has to do with their user profile in Azure. Or if you're not syncing with Azure in Phin, they have a little profile in the user section where you can fill out the department. Those shared fields will combine, and you can have it be the department name. But we'll go ahead and just... for that example, we'll keep going here. So if you have a supervisor, a shared supervisor that you wanted to have shown here, you can do it that way. Or we also directly have groups that you can bring in as well. So if I select dynamic groups, it'll bring in everyone listed under that group within Azure. You can filter the audience that way, and you could have as many campaigns as you want. So you could have one for the finance department, one's for human resources, the executive team, etc. So very easy to set up and manage. And then you also, these are all of our phishing templates. So right now we have 100. We're constantly building more. You can include any or all of them. I would not recommend all of them, but you can include any of them that you want to. Preview any of them right here. Here's one from Google, and just go ahead and include that, right? You can run a preview if you just wanted to see what it looks like, schedule it out, and then when you launch it, it will be its own campaign with just, however many phishing templates you select. And training is the same way too. Here's the training dashboard. Here's actually just what we created already. You have the option here to create a much more custom training experience. So if I did just a test campaign here with a fixed length campaign instead of continuous, I can also change the audience here. And then here's where I can actually add specific courses or pre-built curriculums as well. So if I wanted to do a curriculum for the finance team, we have a pre-built library of courses that would be good for a finance team, or for technical teams or executives. We have lots of different options for that. And so if I wanted to just include specific courses, again, these are all of our training courses here. We've got just 30 pages of them. So lots of courses that we're continuously adding to as well. If I just wanted to include these three, these would be the only three courses that are being sent out. I can schedule it out to these 3 dates, or I can just have it sent all at once. It just sends on this date and time, easy peasy. So you don't have to worry about it. And that's the finalized page. So that is training. You can see our full library of courses as well. You can see all of the courses that we have. If you upgrade your subscription, you can actually upload your own content right here. Very easy. For fishing, same thing. We have all of our templates in a library right here. And then, once you upgrade, you also have the option to create your own fishing template if you want to. So very, very custom and easy to use. It can be as custom as you want, or as easy as setting up just the continuous campaign creator with those 7 questions. So really both end of the spectrums, just depending on how you're wanting to use Phin as well. So that is really it for all I wanted to cover today. We have lots of resources for you. So as you're going through this free trial, we'll be sending you lots of resources via email. Feel free to check those out. We also have lots of resources. If you go to this help and support tab, we have this help and documentation section, which will actually take you to our knowledge base. This is a public knowledge base. You can come in here and see all of our guides related to set up training, fishing, add users, really how to do everything in the platform. So very easy to get started with us as well. And then we also have our YouTube link, which kind of shows some of our well, it should show this video as well as other videos, our podcast recordings, all of the other webinars we've done. So we do a lot of different content in that area. So feel free to check that out if you'd like. And then if you're ready to configure billing, you can always come back here, go to billing, and enter in your information, select the package you'd like, and then kind of go from there. If you ever would like to cancel, of course, you can do that here in the bottom of the billing section as well. So very easy to set up. Like I said, my name is Andrew, here from the Partner Experience team. Our sales team is also willing to help out at any time, as well as our whole team. So would love to have a conversation, and best of luck in your free trial. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and good luck in your Phin journey.